today?
Doing great. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
I am so very excited you being here because since the last summit, we get to know each other and so much thing in common. We are very sensitive person and also very emotional. We are very spiritual as well. So I'm
Sure.
so looking forward to this motivation speech with you. Before we tap into your story, I will just say a few words. Thank you, everyone, for watching Unique Dream Fighter Motivation Inspiration Wednesday. The purpose of this session is to keep our mind positive and be motivated. And especially, we get some inspiration from people in our society for a long time. And through their story, we always can learn something. And life is full of ups and downs, and you are not alone. We always together. So again, this story is not just talk, is to inspire you and focus on solution, focus on positive solution, because challenge, you have got your choice to look at challenge in a bad way, or you look at it in a positive way and find solution to make your life so much better and follow your dream. Let me introduce Jadene in a very brief manner. She's a founder of Skating Success for 10 years and herself is a figure skating coach and choreographer in Canada for a long time. She worked with lots of skater. Yes, let's start. Jadene, do you mind introduce yourself and your own version?
Yeah, this is such a cool thing because when we think of introducing ourselves, if you think of skating to the center ice, is how do you want to show up, right? And so
Exactly.
I always think of how I want to show up. So I'm a person of heart. I lead with my heart. I wear my heart on my sleeve, as Samantha you mentioned, just emotional and connected. I have a background in dance, in figure skating, in psychology. I have a degree in psychology. So I work with athletes. I work with coaches. And now I've taken my choreography business into the realm of business. So I'm doing business choreography too, helping businesses to master their own imagery and find their inner voice. But really it all comes down to one specific thing, which is authentic empowerment. For me, if someone can be authentically themselves and still be empowered to follow their dreams, catch their dreams, just as you're suggesting here, and make mistakes along the way, but still stay true to themselves, that's when we all feel the most satisfied. So I'm super interested in helping people to do that.
In your figure skating journey, is there any challenge or many challenge you can share with us?
Yeah, it's so funny because challenge is baked into the way we live and it's there on purpose, right? Our challenges are there to help us grow the muscles, right? So I'll just give you an example. When I was starting to learn the single axle, let's just put it like that, right? I
Yes.
fell and fell and fell, as we all do, but I kept thinking, how in the heck am I going to get my body to ever understand how to rotate like this? And then the same thing for double axle. But when you realize that, oh, when you land the jump, the strength you have in your muscles is only existing because you got up over and over and over. You actually built your muscles from the fact you physically got yourself up off of your butt. So if we think about life like that, challenges come in many forms: mental, emotional, physical, relationship challenges. So over the
Yeah.
course of skating, yeah, I went through lots of challenges. And now coaching and choreography for over 20 years, many, many challenges. But I think if we don't think of getting rid of the challenge, but realize that always life is going to be that opportunity mixed with the challenge or the difficulty, then we can
Mhm.
realize there is a balance in there. And you're going to learn every single time you work through a challenge, you're going to get stronger. So I like to encourage people to kind of love the process, even though it's painful. So,
Yeah, this is really everybody has to work on. But as a figure skater or as a figure skating coach, is there
mhm.
any challenge that to a moment before you become a master, right? Apparently you're already mastering your emotional state, your mental state. But when you were a figure skater or when you were still in a seeking journey, is there any challenge that you remember that hurt you deeply or you suffer from? I'm not sure who am I. I'm not sure what am I doing here and how am I going to solve this problem myself. And it will bring up some sort of feelings that you remember deeply.
Yeah,
Per-
that's such a great question. Thank you for that. So,
Mm.
My biggest challenge was really being a perfectionist. And I think that,
Mm.
you know, I think so many of us can relate to that. People that are drawn to figure skating are kind of A type. They really want to do well. I mean, to train the amount of training it takes to then do like a 2.5 minute competition. I mean, you have to be kind of obsessive a little bit to be involved in skating. And I was
Yeah.
definitely that way. I would train morning, noon, night, whenever, my coach said do 20 minutes, I would do 45. And I was very obsessed. But the flip side of that was the pain of being so mean to myself in that perfection, right? If I didn't attain something, or if I couldn't do it, or if I did a bad routine or something, I was really hard on myself. And it took a lot of time to recognize the fact that, you know, I can push myself without being cruel or mean to myself. Okay.
Mm.
So there's this balance there of like, I can say to myself, get up, get going, you got this, and go harder. That's fine. But to say, this is why you always fail. You suck. You'll never get there. She's better than you. This is your loser. Do you see the difference there? It's like
Mm.
there's pushing yourself, and then there's being cruel and mean to yourself on the journey. It took me years. I mean, this is not an overnight thing, but it's given me the power of overcoming perfectionism to help other athletes now when I train them, because I think it is, to your point, very, very painful, and your inner world becomes almost intolerable, which in the end stops you from going for your dreams because it's almost too painful to go for your dream.
Yeah, and you remember how you feel when you first realized you are basically arguing to yourself, right? Do you
Mhm.
still remember how it felt?
Oh, it was devastating. It was like living with someone who was beating me up, but inside, right?
So
Like somebody,
nobody's fault. It's really
yeah,
nobody's fault. It's yourself, yeah?
yeah. It was really just this like intense feeling that, okay, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to be, I'm going to get in pain if I don't do well, or if I don't succeed at this. And it was sort of like this taskmaster, like someone right there, right, watching me. And eventually realizing that, I can take the good part of it and let go of the part that was just straight pain, right? So it's I think it's very common. That's why I bring this up as well. As embarrassing as it is to realize you beat yourself up for so long, but I think a lot of skaters have this challenge with the perfectionism of the sport.
When do you realize you really have to transform that energy, like being perfectionist or doing your best?
Yeah, beautiful. So this comes into coaching, and if there's some coaches watching this, be aware of how you hold that energy. I had a few coaches that really actually they loved it, which sounds weird, but they loved that I was a perfectionist because I would, like I say, I would work as hard as humanly possible to please them and to do everything I could. And so they kind of helped me make it keep going. And eventually I had a coach she stopped me and she said, "Okay, you're being really mean to yourself. Do you know that? Like, this is not okay." And I just said to her, "Well, if you knew how bad I am and how terrible I am, you would get." She's like, "No, no, no, no. You're confused. This is something that is not okay. You are a beautiful skater. You've got all this talent, and you need to start treating yourself well. And it's going to take some practice." So I have to give her all the credit. She really saw through that game I was playing with myself and invited me into a different conversation and kind of showed me, you can still work hard, you can still show up on time, you can still be a great skater, but you don't have to have this experience inside your mind that's so scary, right?
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Mhm.
And what would you like to change to your society? What you learn from your own experience will be the major reason that you go after what you want to do right now?
Yeah, I mean, again, to that authentic empowerment piece, it's something that I discovered in myself that was so important to me, and why I ended up coaching and why I do all the things I do. Because when you're in a place where you actually have your own back, like you're willing to fail, but you're still willing to love yourself, it's actually a fast track to what you want. People think that, oh, you're being too soft on yourself and it's not going to work because you're not going to work hard. No, it's actually this really cool superpower where you can go, you know what? I'm willing to fail. And then I'm willing to say, high five, I tried. And if you get past that perfectionism or past that pain, all of a sudden, even working hard becomes a lot more fun, and you get like an exponential amount of stuff done. I've seen it happen with athletes over and over. It's like in a 1-day masterclass, they actually learn their new jump. And it's like, what? That's supposed to take 6 months. Nope, doesn't have to, right? But you get that piece out of the way. You start really being on your own team and encouraging yourself and pushing yourself. And it's crazy what can happen. And so I'm pretty obsessed, as you can tell, with this whole concept.
You keep talking about authentic. Is this there's some special meanings to you?
It is. I think that, one of the magic pieces of skating and why I actually chose to skate over doing ballet, which I thought I was going to do, is that we celebrate individuality. So if you're going to be a ballerina, you're trying to look like, the ballerina type. Whereas figure skating, we celebrate all different body types, sizes, looks on the ice, different music. And it's a sport where like your individual, authentic, artistic voice is actually your superpower in that realm, right? We're always looking for someone who's doing their own version of skating or their own cool artistry. And so I love that piece of it because you can be authentically you, like your personality, your style, what you actually emotionally connect to in the sport, and then you can win on your own terms, right?
And how is unauthentic look like?
Inauthentic? Well, okay, great example. So the first story that comes to mind is I had a little girl, she came to me and she says, I want to skate to Carmen, right? And
Yeah.
she was like, honestly, let me think. She was 9 years old. Okay. Now, most coaches would say, oh, you're not good enough yet. That music is too big for you. Even her mother was warning her, oh, your coach might not give you that music. Just so you know, like Carmen is a big deal. And I just looked at her, I said, let's do it. Let's go. And she did this incredibly cool Carmen, and she got to be authentically her. I mean, she is a big personality, even though she was in this tiny little body, right? She got to be the big, gorgeous ballerina with all this fierce energy. And the program was, judges kept coming up to us and saying, wow, what a program, what a beautiful skater. And she nailed it, Carmen, at 9 years old. So authentically listening to who she is and who she wanted to be instead of shutting it down, really, really important.
While your authentic is going against the crowd. For example, the mother will say this music is too big for you, and you saying you got to trust your gut feeling. This is what you truly want to do, and let's make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is very scary. This is very scary too. Honestly, we keep saying authentic, right? But sometimes people don't even know what is authentic means. And there is a lot of courage behind that because like every day we are soak ourselves into a society in a sport that full of judgment, full of their own standard, and somehow our voice being buried. Authentic to me is representing strength, and how lucky that got a coach like you.
Well, one of the things your audience might benefit from on this idea that's helpful, especially in skating. What I say to the skater when we're doing a risky thing or a new, type of choreography is don't worry if they like it, but make sure that it's excellent. Like, for example, we all maybe see a house that's built and it's not our style, but we can tell it's well crafted, it's good materials, it's beautifully done, it's a good house, but maybe we don't want to buy it. So if you focus on just, can I do the best? Like she was focusing her best Carmen, the best she can do. Even if someone said, well, I don't like that, or I don't think a 9-year-old should get to that, they still can't argue with the fact she still did a good job, right? You do your best, you go for excellence, not for opinion, not for judgment and feedback, right?
Here is something very fundamental core value here. And I think if coaches or skater or parents can genuinely accept the fact that we doing the best version of what we want to do, what our dream like, the whole world will be different. The whole world will be different. We no longer need to, dress the same. We no longer have to have the same hairstyle. We no longer have to do the, same presentation. And this is always something I always want to show up in my clothing in figure skating as well. Also, of course, I am not a high level coach, but this message is so unique and so important to embrace our individuality.
Yeah. I think there's a bit of urgency to it too. People think, well, I have so much time. Like people will say, well, we'll just develop the skater, and when she's in senior, she'll do that. Like, don't take it for granted. It's all about right now, this season, this program. Like when you're developing a fashion line, you're not thinking, well, I won't do my best this time because
Mm.
eventually I'll do. No, you do your best fashion design in the moment with what you have, with the fabric that's available, and you can tell. I was looking through your Instagram before this. I'm like, every piece is like has its own emotion. I'm feeling that the skater wearing it, they feel proud. They feel like they're in their style on the ice. This matters. So anything you do, if you go after that excellence, you can't go wrong with that.
Can you evaluate a little bit more now? What is now to you? You keep saying at the moment, yeah?
hmm Well, we all change, we all grow, right? We all are developing, and it's actually really fun because as you change and grow, you're taking in new experiences, new relationships. I mean, look at the opening of this talk. I'm saying I'm doing consultation to businesses around business choreography and branding and marketing. Who would have ever thought I would be taking choreography into a business realm in that way? But what's important to me now is still to connect human to human and help to bring their vision of their life forward, right? So it comes back to that empowerment piece, kind of the second word I was talking about. And empower yourself that it's okay to keep growing, keep developing. Like your business has been around for a long time too. So that year one is totally different than now. And yet, yeah,
Yeah.
it's part of that evolving. And I think humans, sometimes we trade our personal evolving for trying to get it right. And I don't think that that's a great trade, because if we
Mm.
get it right in other people's eyes, we're actually kind of limiting ourselves to what other people already know. And then we don't evolve past that.
Right. This is a very, very, very important pieces. Live at the moment, and the present moment is so important. And yeah, from what you have just told us, your pain, your challenge, and your vision, and what is your call? What is your call? How do you want to change your society?
I was looking at that question before this call because you graciously gave me the questions to look through. I mean, I just want to love people. I just want, people to know they're loved. It might be cheesy, but when I go to get gas at this gas station, I like to look at the gas station attendant in the eye, smile, connect. In those little moments in life, I just think if we can love each other more, instead of operating from so much fear and so much stress. Like I remember being a little kid and watching, parents and adults being so stressed, and I'm like, how I was promising myself, I don't want to be an adult if that's what it means. I've just got to be this stressed out all the time. So I said, no way. I'm just not buying into that story. Yes, there are challenges in life, but does it have to be everyday stress? No, I don't prescribe to that way of living. So I live from a place of love, connection, service. I love to serve people.
Yeah.
And yeah, stresses come, but that's a little part of what life is. It doesn't have to be the driver. So if I could see anything change in society, I would love to
Yeah.
have people lean into switching stressed backwards, turning it into dessert. Because if you switch that word around, it's dessert, and you just have the sweetness of life a lot more, right?
Beautiful, beautiful. That's why what we are doing right here. This is the main project that we need everyone to join us to do this day by day, every minute and every moment. It sounds like very easy, right? Just be love, being unconditional love is so easy to say. But when you got scared, in that split second you become somebody else. You live in hell.
Yeah.
And this is a big, big dream, and apparently you're showing every bit of your dream in your work every day. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe too much, maybe a little too obsessively. So,
Never, never, never. Love will never be too much.
aw, so
Really.
great.
And this is beautiful. And will you uh, talk about a little bit of your more about your business, your service, so I know people can connect with you, especially if they want to learn online or through nowadays you do choreography through Zoom for a while, right? You told me the other time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do choreography from start to finish, all online, all over the world. So, what's so fun about this is that no matter where someone's watching from, if they would like to work on choreography, they can do it. I do like an artistic assessment. Just sign up and you can come and kind of see what you need to get done. And we work out a timeline, we get it done. Um, I do, of course, the free stuff, the podcast, all that kind of stuff, Skating Success. If you search anywhere online, you'll find us. But I also love to coach coaches. So we have a coaches circle Facebook group, which is a private group. It's just for coaches, and they can join in, and it's a fun place to connect and also feel supported. And I also been branching out and doing lots of group stuff on Zoom and in person. So it's really a fun time right now. Think of it as limitless, right? Send me a message on Instagram or something at Skating Success and talk about what you need, and I likely have a solution for it. So it's a very fun time to be in service.
Perfect. And I will encourage all of you to stay in touch with Jadene Skating Success. You can find her speaker bio in our in our mail. The last question before we go is, what is your hope for our
Mm.
fellow loving artistic figure skating world?
My hope is that it becomes way more popular so that way more
Mm,
people get
me
the
too.
feeling of skating. And by that feeling, I mean, when you skate and you allow yourself to glide across the ice, you find this piece of your heart that's like flying and freedom and gliding that you can't really quite do any other way. And I think that that feeling becomes a home in your body because you know your body memorizes what you go through physically, and if you have that feeling, you actually take it into the rest of your life. And when you're trying to chase your dream in university or as an adult or as a parent, you can go back to it. It's like a place in your body where you know what it feels like to be free and be yourself. And it's my wish for everyone in the world to at least have that feeling, whether it's through skating or not, but just to find a place where they know it's home. And to your earlier thought around authenticity, that's what's authentic to you, right? And that's what you can bring to any dream that you're working towards and any team that you're a part of as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jadine. Embrace your moment, embrace your loving moment, every moment. And don't be too harsh to yourself.
That's
I
really
think
important.
it's very, very hard to change that. I'm a perfectionist as well. And to a point, it takes me very, very long time to let go that bit of me. And this is beautiful session. Thank you so much, Jadine. And I wish all of you enjoy it and get your takeaway through here and continue your passion. Your dream is never too big. Okay, never, never too big. So start to dream and start to make it work with your actions.
I
All
love it.
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care.